Welcome to Afrika Tuungane. Today we are here at Zetech University trying to find a solution to what we believe is Africa's greatest challenge and greatest dream, the challenge and the dream of African unity. And in this, the candidate for our petition, this challenge and this dream is Kiswahili language. And I'm today joined by undergraduate students, undergraduate Kiswahili students here at Zetech University, and also the head of department, the dean in charge of this department. So we're going to have a conversation with Kiswahili undergraduate students here at Zetech University, because these are the people who are going to teach Kiswahili all over Africa when Kiswahili is finally or eventually adopted as Africa's common language and lingua franca. So I would like to have a conversation with you guys, a very open and lively conversation, trying to make a case for Kiswahili language. So I've shared a few questions with these Kiswahili students, and they are going to respond to some of those questions as we try to make a case for Kiswahili to become Africa's common language and lingua franca in a bid to unite all Africans and end the discord and the disconnect that has been brought about by the continued use of colonial languages. And I'm guilty because at this point I'm using a colonial languages, the likes of English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and even Arabic, because it's also one of the colonial languages used in Africa. So we would want to have a truly African language to unite all Africans. So guys, let's make this as lively as possible. So I want you to just raise your hand and I'll give you the mic. You'll introduce yourself and the question you would want to respond to. So who goes first? I think we can start with you, brother.
Okay, thank you. My name is Jafet Juma Chacha, undergraduate at Zetech University, taking Bachelor of Education, Kiswahili History. And today I would like to stand here to champion for the use of Kiswahili worldwide, actually, not even Africa only. Because this is our culture, and being our culture, Kiswahili may be considered as one of the cultures. So I'll go with the question one. Actually, I don't have the copy, but
you can have it, yeah.
I can read the question.
Yes, read it, please.
It says, what advantages in terms of language utility does Kiswahili as a language have over the other 5 official languages of African Union? These other languages of African Union include English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and Arabic. Actually, we may say that using these languages is not that bad, but we have to consider the use of Kiswahili also. When you talk of the advantages, let's say, for example, easy to learn over the other languages. Kiswahili is easy to learn compared to these languages. For example, when you talk of French, we can't say studying a French word is easy like Kiswahili. For example, when you say jambo, we see many Europeans come to Africa and they're being told only once, and they capture the word jambo, habari yenu. So it's easy to learn. Another one is cultural affirmation. Kiswahili give us the identity as Africans. That's a culture. When you say of culture, we say we have the Swahili dressing code, we have other things doing Swahili. So they promote the culture of Africans as a language. Another thing we say utility, not utility, but neutralization. Kiswahili give us all that base of being equal at one level. So we are neutral under Kiswahili. We can't say that we use Kiswahili, others don't understand Kiswahili. But when we champion it, let's come together and say Kiswahili may promote this thing. We can work under that. For example, Kiswahili promotes things like trade, education, and government businesses.
Correct.
When you talk of government businesses, you can say of Tanzania and Kenya. When you go in partnership, we use Kiswahili. We don't say, now, let's use English so that our fellows can understand us. No, we take Kiswahili. And when it comes of education, for example, the other day in South Africa, they said that they're going to make Kiswahili a language to be taught in schools. So we say it's also an advantage to us. I think I can stop there and give another my opponents. Thank you.
You want to respond? Karibu. Your name, your nationality, and the question you'd want to respond to.
My name is Sarah Tieno, a Kenyan, taking Bachelor of Education in Kiswahili and CRE. I'd like to respond to question 11.
Question 11, please.
Which says, what requirements and certifications does a Kenyan Kiswahili graduate need to be accepted and approved as a Kiswahili teacher outside Kenya?
All right.
Let's take a look of here in Kenya. For you to be a teacher of Kiswahili, you must study in any of the known university, and you must have the degree. It's not a must to have the degree, but some people start with certificate. You must have the certificate. Then you go to diploma. Then you go to degree and even masters. Let's take a look of a country, Tanzania. Tanzania, if you want to be a teacher of Kiswahili in Tanzania, you need to have a bachelor of degree in Kiswahili and other certification. And even it all applies even in outside countries like the Uganda, South Africa. Yes, that's all.
Asante sana. Ndugu, karibu.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Benedict Mutua. Nationality, I'm a Kenyan, a student at Zetech University, pursuing Bachelor's of Education Arts in Kiswahili History. My response goes to question number 12.
Question number 12.
Yeah. What benefits would Kiswahili bring if adopted as African common language? Number one, as you all know, Kiswahili being adopted as a national language, it can reduce that dependence of colonial languages. Like you'll find it will be so easier for us to communicate in our own language as Africans commonly in Kiswahili as compared to those borrowed language from Europe, English, Germany, French. Correct. So it will be so easier for communication. Also on the trade sector, it will be so easier for a Kenyan to communicate with a Ugandan, a Nigerian person through Kiswahili to link to market their products outside. Also in the cultural and unity affirmation, it will also bring one common unit amongst all the Africans. Yeah, thank you. That was my argument.
Asante sana. Karibu hapa ndugu.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Dungu James, a student at Zetech and I'm a citizen of Kenya who is a patriot. I want to respond to number one.
Number one.
Where Chacha said of the advantages of using Swahili or language utility.
Correct.
For instance, I want to take you back to what Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o writes and says, decolonizing the mind. Mm-hmm. You can't decolonize the mind while using a language that came from another continent. So if we want now to decolonize ourselves and now be people who are free, we must use a language that originated or its foundation is found in Africa.
Correct.
So meaning now, if we want to be free, we must also free ourselves from those languages that came into the continent through the missionaries and through the colonial period. Yes. So what I want to say is that for us now to have a firm decision on using language, we must decolonize ourselves. We must stand and say that Kiswahili started as a language in Africa and now we want to explore it in all countries in Africa. So the key thing is what we should do. We must decolonize our mind now by leaving other languages, for instance Spanish, French and others, so that now we can be free as citizens and people in Africa. Thank you.
Asante sana. Naona unataka kujibu swali. Tujibu? Karibu.
Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Charlene and I'm a Kenyan by citizen, undergraduate student doing Kiswahili history. I would like to respond to question number 6. The question is the question number 6 is what makes Kiswahili language an easy language to learn, write, speak compared to other languages. Yeah, Kiswahili is very easy to learn, speak and write because first considering phonetics and phonology, Kiswahili is written exactly as it's spoken. It's spoke. For example, baba. You only need to know the letters, alphabetical letters, and how to join them. Another thing that makes Kiswahili easy to learn, read and write, it's the tones. Kiswahili does not consider the tonals, the complexities like English literature where you have to consider rising tone, the tones. The Kiswahili does not have that ones. Another one is grammar. In Kiswahili, the grammar is very easy. It follows very simple rules. For example, considering tenses, you have past tense, present tense, and future tenses. For example, in Kiswahili you only need to know in present we use na. In past tense we use li. For example, ulikuja, you came. You see in Kiswahili, in English you'll have to change the whole sentence, the verbs, you have to change the appearance of the verbs, but in Kiswahili you only need to change only a letter, only maybe 2 letters at most, the syllables.
Wow.
For example, I want to tell her, you will come tomorrow. In Kiswahili, I only tell her, utakuja. You see, the ta means it's future. Yeah, in Kiswahili it's very easy to learn, and it only takes a short time to learn and understand everything in Kiswahili. Yeah.
Asante sana. You've talked about phonetics, phonology, the tenses. Shukran. Karibu ndugu, karibu hapo.
Thank you so much. My name is Hezbon Elazia, a Kenyan, a very patriotic one. Mine is to respond to question number 12. What are the benefits of Kiswahili language? First of all, Kiswahili has united many people, specifically East Africa. We use Kiswahili as the language for the EAC, East Africa community. Then, it's through Kiswahili that we have done many business with the Tanzanian people and Benin people outside the world. There are many other organizations like the China University, which is offering Kiswahili as a course there. Many people are being sponsored to being there to go and learn. So it is through Kiswahili that many people have got the opportunity maybe to visit China for the first time, or to visit other countries like USA, the Argentina, to do what, to speak Kiswahili or to preach the Kiswahili language. Among other benefits, Kiswahili has enabled people to have the unity. For example, in Kenya, many of us, when you go outside the market, when you talk Kiswahili, you are a Kenyan, and we have the unity in each other. That's all. Thank you.
Asante sana. Karibu. It's always good kuongeza.
I'm back again, and I have to add a point on what my fellow said on the benefits of Kiswahili. I can say you have the technology advancements. For example, we all know that we use laptops, computers, the internet, and so on. But remember, on the ground, we have our fellows who don't understand the English or the other languages input inside that by the technology. So, championing for Kiswahili to be a national language, countrywide, not even countrywide, worldwide, may improve these people to know and learn the Kiswahili through these technologies. And also this will improve the technological field to other countries. For example, when you talk of Tanzania here, those are our fellas. We all know that they use Kiswahili and they are very proud of that. So you might find some of them not using the technologies because they don't understand the language inside there. But when we input the Kiswahili into the technology, so we may make it easy for them to access these digital technologies. Thank you.
Asante. Karibu ongea. Utaongeza ndugu point yako.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Adagara Sabina, a Kenyan citizen, a student in Zetech University pursuing Bachelor of Education Act in the field of Kiswahili history. So,
Karibu.
I will answer question 3.
Question 3.
Kiswahili is an African, Pan-African, indigenous language. What makes Kiswahili language African, Pan-African, and indigenous? So, Kiswahili, one, it originated in the East African coast. Secondly, Kiswahili is used in some countries such as Tanzania as a unifying language.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. So even in Kenya, Kiswahili it is used as a compulsory language in primary and high school. And that's all. Thank you.
Asante sana. Unataka kuongeza ndogo kitu, karibu. Ongeze uzito.
Just to add on the benefits of Kiswahili, there are many people who are employed as translators, others who are employed as, there's a difference between a translator and a interpreter.
Kwa Kiswahili hao ni mkalimani na
mtafsiri.
Which is which? Mkalimani ni translator. Interpreter.
Yeah.
Na mtafsiri? Translator.
Yeah.
Kweli sawa, endelea.
Of which those people are being paid to translate or to interpret such an information in many places. For example, in court in Kenya, lazima kuwe na mkalimani. Then in other places, for example, if a person wants to communicate something in Kiswahili and it's a foreigner, I must get a translator from Kenya, which is a job opportunity to many people who have learned Kiswahili language.
Correct.
Thank you.
Asante. Karibu hapa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Esteria, a Kenyan citizen, a student in Zetech University pursuing Bachelor of Education, Arts and Social Sciences in the field of Kiswahili and CRE.
Karibu.
I'd like to answer question number 2.
Number 2.
What would make Kiswahili the best candidate in the pursuit of common language and lingua franca for Africa and Africans? What qualities should a language have to make it the best choice for a common language or lingua franca? How many of such qualities does Kiswahili have? We have Kiswahili, like for a language to be an ideal common language or a lingua franca, it should be wide reach. Like for example, it should be spoken in across multiple regions. Like for example, Kiswahili is, let's say it's being spoken like all over Africa. For example, Tanzania uses it as its national language, and this makes Kiswahili to possess the characteristic or the quality of being a lingua franca.
The rich. Mahali ambapo kuna watu wanaongea Kiswahili.
Yeah, it is being spoken in many countries in Africa.
Yes.
And it should also have the neutrality characteristic. It should not be associated with any single or ethnic national group. For example, in Kenya, we have languages spoken by different cultural groups, but Kiswahili is universally spoken in Kenya, making it a lingua franca. It should have cultural resonance, reflect the values and heritage of the people. Like when you speak Kiswahili, for example, in America, you'll definitely have the cultural, they'll definitely know that you are from Africa because you're able to speak and express yourself in Kiswahili. It has the ease of learning. A lingua franca should have ease of learning. That means Kiswahili you can be able to read and write very properly. If you get introduced into learning Kiswahili, it is easy to learn it because, for example, its phonetics, its pronunciations, its syllables, they are easy to understand.
Correct.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Karibia hapa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm Margaret Mureithi, a student at Zetech University, pursuing Bachelor of Education Arts, Kiswahili History, a Kenyan.
Karibu.
Okay. My question goes to number 7. Is there enough Swahili language data to effectively and effectively support large language model for artificial intelligence in Kiswahili language? Yeah, according to me, there are many materials that you can access which
as Kiswahili details. There are textbooks whereby, like, if you are a student, you can access the textbooks and you get some knowledge from the textbook. You can get the knowledge even in AI materials. Like, you can go to Google, then you Google something in Kiswahili, then you get the information that you require from that perspective.
Good.
Another thing, we have the Kiswahili platforms, like we have some kamusi. Like in English, they have the dictionaries, but in Kiswahili, we still have the kamusi, the Tuki ones, the 21st century, that Karne one. So there are enough materials to use to study Kiswahili. Thank you.
Asante sana. Karibia hapa. Karibu Afrika Tuungane. Karibu.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Sharon Letwati. I'm doing a Bachelor in Education Arts, Kiswahili CRE. My question, I want to major on question number 4.
Number 4.
No. Kiswahili is a natural, neutral, non-ethnic, and non-tribal language. What gives Kiswahili these qualities? I'll start with Kiswahili as a natural language. As we said, Kiswahili is a neutral language or a natural language. When you see the meaning of lingua franca, it was a language used with two communities with different languages. So Kiswahili started in the coastal, which we call the Swahilis, but there was the intermarriages in between them. So it was a naturally developed language.
Correct.
Now we talk on the neutral. As you can see, Kiswahili was when you see in the community of the Tanzanians, Kiswahili was introduced and was given that potential to be the national language of Tanzania, which when you see Julius Nyerere, he used the Swahili or the Kiswahili language to be used in their community. That gives Kiswahili the quality of being neutral.
Neutral, yes.
Yeah, when we see the non-ethnic, you can see like Kiswahili being given that quality. It has the complexity, it has not that local variation when you are talking about it. Now we look at the non-tribal language, we can't say that Kiswahili is a tribalism language because we can use Swahili in Tanzania, we can use Swahili in the coastal areas, we can use Swahili in Kenya.
Correct.
That gives Kiswahili not being a tribal because if I go to Uganda and they get a person talking Kiswahili, of course we can communicate using the language. When I go to Tanzania, I can speak the Kiswahili, but if it's not the Sanifu, I can talk the Swahili being used there and we can communicate. My session gets end there.
Asante sana. Asante. Ungetaka kuongeza kitu? Karibu. Asante.
Okay, to add something on question 3, talking about the Kiswahili being an indigenous and African language.
Yes.
I think many people underrate Kiswahili, thinking that being fluent in English is being overrated so much. I think being able to speak Kiswahili fluently, it helps do away with the neo-colonialism aspect. Yeah, Kiswahili is a very neutral language and it embraces the African nature because it originated in African countries. It's an African origin, so yes. It helps do away with the neo-colonialism.
Correct.
Yeah.
Asante sana. Naam, salamu alaikum. Kwa majina ni Margaret. Mimi ni mpenzi wa Kiswahili kutoka chuo kikuu cha Zetech. Nakipenda sana na kienzi Kiswahili. Mimi kama balozi wa Kiswahili natumai kuwa tutakuza Kiswahili nchini Afrika na hata nje ya nchi. Tutazidi kuzungumza Kiswahili. Nina furaha tele. Hata kama wewe uko nje unaweza jiunga na chuo kikuu cha Zetech bado na usome na ujiunge nasi tuzungumze na tusome zaidi kuhusu Kiswahili. Asante na shukuru.
Wow.
Naam, jina langu ni Shalin na naipenda sana lugha ya Kiswahili. Na nipo tayari kabisa kuikuza na kuienzi taaluma hii ya Kiswahili. Mahali popote pale niko tayari kabisa.
Afrika ya.
Naam.
Asante. Hamjambo? Hatujambo.
Kwa majina ni Brian Kamande. Mwanafunzi wa mwaka wa 4 katika chuo kikuu cha Zetech. Ningependa kusema kuwa tunapenda Kiswahili na tutaendelea kukienzi na tutakifunza kila mahali duniani, si Afrika peke yake. Asante.
Asante.
Na hamjambo?
Jambo.
Jina langu tena ni Zetech Juma. Ni mwanafunzi wa mwaka wa 4 katika chuo kikuu cha Zetech ambaye nachukua shahada ya walimu katika nyanja ya Kiswahili na historia. Na ningependa kusimama hapa na kusema kuwa nitazidi kukienzi Kiswahili na kukitetea siku zote, kwa kuwa Kiswahili ni kitambulisho chetu kama Waafrika. Na kama kitambulisho hakiwezi kujificha. Wanavyosema, tasema kuwa ni kama tu mimba. Kiswahili ni kama mimba kwangu. Haiwezi kujificha. Popote pale nitakapotembea, nitakapotangamana na watu, nitazungumza Kiswahili. Na ningeomba tu kuomba wale ambao wanashughulikia swala hili, mtupe tu nafasi ya kufanya Kiswahili kienziwe duniani, na mtaona mabadiliko na faida ambazo Kiswahili kitaleta katika ulimwengu wetu. Kwa mfano, tapenda kujiunga na ndugu yetu hapa Hezbon ambaye amesema kuwa anapigania Kiswahili ulimwenguni. Kwa hivyo tutamuunga mkono bega kwa bega mpaka tamati ili kuhakikisha kuwa hili limeweza kutimia.
Shukran.
Naam, kama vile alivyosema Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, mwenda zake samahani, kuwa Kiswahili ni kitu ambacho kitatupeleka mbali sote. Ndio maana alianza kukitumia pale Tanzania. Ndicho tu kilichowapea uhuru. Hakuweza kutumia lugha nyingine ila Kiswahili. Makongamano yote, mikutano yote aliyotangamana na wakubwa, wao wa Faransa, wao kina nani, bado alikienzi Kiswahili. Kwa hivyo tutaendelea kushikilia nafasi hiyo na tutatimiza ndoto yetu. Shukran.
Asante sana.
Salamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Jina tena ni Sabina Dagara. Tutaendelea kuimarisha hii lugha yetu ya Kiswahili, na nikipata nafasi yoyote huku Afrika ama nje ya Afrika, tutaendelea kuimarisha hii lugha yetu tukufu. Muwe na wakati mwema.
Asante sana.
Hamjambo nyote?
Hatujambo.
Kwa majina ni Nyongesa Davis, mwanafunzi wa Zetech University na somea kozi ya Kiswahili. Mimi nina furaha sana na hili somo la Kiswahili, na kwa upande wangu ningependa kuahidi kwamba nikipata ile nafasi nitaweza kuhakikisha kwamba Kiswahili kimepepea na kimetoka kutoka kiwango hiki hadi kiwango cha juu. Muwe na wakati mwema.
Asante sana.
Hamjambo.
Hatujambo.
Kwa majina naitwa Sali, nafanya taaluma ya Kiswahili, taaluma ya ualimu, taasisi ya Kiswahili. Nakipenda sana Kiswahili na nakienzi maana ni lugha ya kitaifa, inatumiwa kwa mataifa mengi. Na ningependa kusema kuwa tuikuse Kiswahili maana Kiswahili ni lugha nzuri. Yeah.
Asante.
Kwa hivyo kwa wakubwa wangu shikamoo, na kwa wenzangu wa mjambo.
Jambo.
Kwa hivyo naitwa Nesta Pendo Adhiambo, mwanafunzi wa chuo kikuu cha Zetech. Nafanya taaluma ya ualimu, taasisi ya jiografia na Kiswahili. Na ningependa kueleza kuwa tuendelee kukienzi Kiswahili. Kiswahili ni lugha ambayo inaweza tufikisha mbali sana. Kiswahili ni kipana. Kwa hivyo tuendelee kukienzi Kiswahili na tutapata kuwa tunaweza fika mbali sana. Asanteni sana.
Asante.
Hamjambo.
Tujambo.
Jina langu ni Sharon Etwati. Nafanya shahada ya kwanza shule kikuu cha Zetech. Na nakipenda sana Kiswahili kama lugha yangu ya pili, na pia nakifanya kama kwa minajili ya kunisaidia pia mimi katika uongezi wangu wa masomo, na ningependa kuifanya Afrika na nje ya Afrika. Asante.
Asante sana.
Hamjambo.
Tujambo.
Jina langu ni Ndegi Esteria, mwanafunzi wa shahada ya kwanza chuo kikuu cha Zetech. Ningependa kushukuru kushukuru mwenzetu hapa kwa kuleta hiki kipindi ambacho kinaelezea kuhusu kuendeleza lugha ya Kiswahili. Na ningependa kusema kwamba tutakapopewa fursa tutaweza kukienzi na kukieneza Kiswahili Afrika na bado nje ya Afrika. Tuungane pamoja kukienzi na kukipenda Kiswahili. Wakati mwema.
Asante sana.
Hamjambo.
Hatujambo.
Jina langu ni Judy Nasera, mwanafunzi katika chuo kikuu cha Zetech. Ningependa sana tuendeleze Kiswahili katika nchi Afrika na nchi zingine za nje. Asanteni.
Asante sana.
Hamjambo tena. Jina langu ni Sara Atieno, mwanafunzi wa chuo kikuu cha Zetech. Ningependa kusema hivi, Kiswahili, tufanye Kiswahili ienee na tuimarishe na tufanye wale wengine wasioweza kujua Kiswahili waendelee kujua na tutafika mbali. Asante.
Asante. Ningependa kuchukua fursa hii kutoa shukrani zangu za dhati kwa chuo kikuu cha Zetech, hasa katika department ya lugha ya Kiswahili kiongozwa na Profesa Owen Ngumi kwa kutukaribisha leo hii kama Afrika Tuungane ili tukaweze kujadiliana na kufanya mazungumzo kuhusu lugha hii ya Afrika, lugha ambayo itaunganisha Waafrika wote, lugha ambayo tunaipenda sana, lugha ya Kiswahili. Ningependa pia kutoa shukrani zangu kwa wanafunzi wa lugha ya Kiswahili ambao wanafanya shahada ya Kiswahili ambao wako nyuma yangu leo hii kwa kuweza kutoa maoni yao na kutoa maoni yao kama scholars ama wale tunaita wanataaluma wa lugha ya Kiswahili kuhusu lugha ya Kiswahili kama lugha ambayo inaweza kuleta Waafrika wote pamoja na kuweza kumaliza mgawanyiko ambao unaletwa na lugha za kikoloni ambazo tuliwaachiwa ama ambazo lugha zililetwa na tukawachiwa na wakoloni. So natoa shukrani zangu sana. Nafurahi sana kujumuika na nyinyi leo sana sana kwa program hii ya kuunganisha Waafrika wote. So kwa mara ingine asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki na tuendelee kupenda Kiswahili na tuendelee kuikuza na kuifanya lugha ambayo itaunganisha Waafrika wote pamoja. Asanteni sana.